Several movie critics have claimed that this movie will inspire people to act in socially irresponsible ways. Okay, yet this claim relies entirely on survey data that has turned out to be deeply flawed. So this claim is dependent upon or relies on the survey data that has turned out to be deeply flawed. Thus, these critics have made a claim that is not only untrue, but also potentially harmful to the movie makers' reputations. So our conclusion is this last part. And my conclusion or my prediction for this was just like, well, just because the survey data was flawed, that doesn't mean the claim that they're making is flawed necessarily. And so like this could be like this survey data could be flawed in a different way, but it still could, the results that it came out with still could be accurate, or this claim could still be true. So A says infers, which infers just means concludes. So concludes that a claim is false merely because there is no satisfactory evidence for it has been offered. I like that one so far a lot. B says fails to consider that a pejorative, I don't even know how to say, does anybody know how to say that? Pejorative claim that is true can be more harmful to, no, I don't care, more harmful to a person's reputation than a false claim? Like, no. C relies on a sample that is likely to be unrepresentative. If we were struggling with C, does our conclusion here, so we're talking about our conclusion, not not this movie theaters critics claim, but is it likely to be unrepresentative? Like we don't even rely on a sample, honestly, for our conclusion. D says attacks the person's making an argument rather than attacking the substance. Once again, this is just like the one that we did with the newspaper article. For this to be true, we would have to be attacking the movie critics rather than the substance of the argument. We're not making attack here and saying the movie critics are always terrible, therefore their claims are wrong. So it can't be D. And then E says fails to consider that even if an argument's conclusion is false, some of the evidence used to justify that conclusion may nonetheless be true. This one I think is more tempting than the rest. Fails to consider that even if an argument's conclusion is false. Oh, so this is we don't care about this survey data here, like what their conclusion is, if that makes sense. Like some of their evidence used to justify this conclusion could in fact be true, or it could not be true. Who cares? We're just saying that just because we've shown that this survey data potentially could be flawed, that doesn't guarantee that this claim up here is for sure wrong. I know I just did that really fast, but does anybody have any questions on that? Did that make sense?
Yeah, that one's just saying that the evidence is true or not true, and we don't care about the evidence, right? We care about the conclusion.
Yeah, we care. Yeah, they're talking. I think where people get caught up on this question is they think that they act as if the movie critics claim itself is a conclusion, which I guess technically it is, but it's not our conclusion. Our conclusion is that they're wrong. And so that they're like, we don't fail to consider that this conclusion could be false, even though some of the evidence used to justify it may be true. Like, who cares? We're saying they're wrong, and why are they wrong? That was kind of a spicy one.
So answer's E?
No, the answer is A. Sorry.
Oh crap. Okay.
Oh no, that's not good. Okay. Yeah, it's A. So we're and so just to refresh, A is saying we are concluding that a claim is false merely on the grounds or just because there's no satisfactory evidence for it has been offered. So our conclusion here is that these critics are wrong because the critics' evidence is bad. Well, just because their evidence is bad doesn't guarantee that their claim is wrong. They just don't have support.
I got it. Okay. Cool.
Awesome.